Good morning. I hope everybody had a happy and safe 4th of July weekend. Our weekend market pulse covering June 25th through July 2nd, ending 2 days before the holiday, showed competitive conditions with buyer opportunities. An average of 1.2 offers, with 50% of new contracts receiving multiple offers, 25% of buyers waiving inspections, 12% skipping entirely, 13% doing pre-inspections, and 50% doing full inspections. 50% of contracts at or above list price. So my take on the holiday impact: since our brokerage markets pulse data ended 2 days before the 4th of July, any holiday impact isn't reflected in these numbers. I think next week's numbers will show a decline for the past holiday weekend. Anecdotally, my personal business was slow enough that I got a lot of family time in this weekend. We did ratify on an off-market deal, but that had been 2 weeks in the making. I also expect activity to rebound close to what we had for the June 25th through July 2nd period, though that rebound won't be reflected until the following week. As usual, competitive intensity and pricing pressure vary significantly by location and price point. So let's take a look at the community data. Bethesda, Maryland, single-family homes, median list price of $2,093,500. Median price of new listings, $2,147,000. Price per square foot, 441. Average days on market, 76. Median days on market, 42. Price decreased, 37%. Price increased 2%. Relisted 17%. Inventory 156. Medium rent 5,300. MAI 40. Slight seller's advantage. Market narrative. The market has been cooling off a bit in recent weeks as more homes are available and demand is less. We are seeing prices move lower as a result, though the market is still in the seller's zone. My take: the luxury segment, Q1, 3.575 million median, is showing most resistance with 91 days on market, while entry tier, the Q4, 1.195 million, moves quickly at 21 days on market. The 37% price reduction signals sellers are adjusting expectation, yet absorption remains or continues to exceed inventory in the lower two quartiles. The bottom quartile at a median price of $1,195,000 shows strength, 21 days on market, 6 new units, and 7 absorbed. Bethesda, Maryland, condo and townhomes. Median price list, $415,000. Median price of new listings, $399,000. Price per square foot, $345. Average days on market, 46. Median days on market, 35. Price decreased 41, price increased 0, relisted 6%, inventory 51, medium rent 3,050, a market action index of 40, market narrative. In the last few weeks, the market has achieved relative stasis point in terms of sales to inventory. However, inventory is sufficiently low to keep us in the seller's market. My take: inventory generally outpaced absorption. Good chance as we move deeper into the summer, these dip into the buyer advantage zone. Chevy Chase, Maryland, single-family homes, median list price, $2,195,000. Median price of new listings, $1,149,000. Price per square foot, $529. Average days on market, 103. Median days on market, 42. Price decreased 37%. Price increased 0. Relisted 12%. Inventory coming in at 49. Median rent, $4,950. This is a 39, which is a slight seller advantage in terms of the market action index. Market narrative. In the last few weeks, the market has been at a relative stasis point in terms of sales to inventory. However, prices seem to continue to fall a bit despite technically being in a seller's market. My take: the ultra high-end Q1 4.25 million is completely stalled with 154 days on market and 0 absorption, while the bottom quartile 1.272 million maintains momentum with 1 new unit and 1 absorbed and 21 days on market, while no new properties hit the second lowest quartile with a median price of $1,996,000. 2 units were absorbed. Basically, the bottom half is moving and the top half is stalled. Chevy Chase, Maryland, condos and townhouses. Median list price, $462,000. Median price of new listing, $374,000. Price per square foot, $413. Average days on market, 84. Median days on market, 56. Price decreased, 39%. Price increases, 0. Relisted, 12%. Inventory coming in at 74 with a median rent at $2,640. The market action index is a slight seller's advantage at 31. Market narrative, the market remains in relative stasis in terms of sales to inventory, and prices have been relatively stable for a few weeks. My take, MAI is 30 at 31. This is the softest market in our coverage area, yet I am seeing signs of strength. The luxury segment, the 1.25 million, is surprisingly healthy, but the mid-range units struggle. The 84 days on market suggests patience is required, particularly for anything over 500,000. Gaithersburg, Maryland, single-family homes. Median list price, $853,850. Median price of new listing, $785,000. Price per square foot, $274. Average days on market, 63. Median days on market, 42. Price decreased, 36. Price increased, 2%. Relisted, 14%. Inventory coming in at 108. Median rent, $3,200. The market action index sits at 44, which is a slight seller's advantage. Market narrative, in the last few weeks, the market has achieved relative stasis point in terms of sales to inventory. My take, Gaithersburg has been fairly hot market, but we might be seeing some early signs of weakness. Across all quartiles, we had 18 new units, but only 7 absorbed. Gaithersburg, Maryland, condo and townhouses. Median list price, $479,900. Median price of new listings, $534,700. Price per square foot, $294. Average days on market, 42. Median days on market, 21. Price decreased, 35. Price increased 2%. Relisted 8%. Inventory at 89. Median rent, $2,263. Market action index sits at 55, which is a strong seller's market. Market narrative. The market has not shown strong directional trends in terms of supply and demand. However, inventory is sufficiently low to keep us in the seller market, and prices have been moving upward. My take, this is our strongest condo townhouse market with an MAI of 55. All quartiles showing excellent velocity at 21 to 28 days on market. The upward price trajectory and the upward price trajectory in 21 days, medium days on market do signal genuine strength. This is a hot market with 14 new units and 20 absorbed. Gaithersburg, Maryland, single-family homes. Median list price, $799,990. Median price of new listings, $676,950. Price per square foot, $272. Average days on market, 48. Median days on market, 28. Price decreased 32%. Price increases 0. Relisted 20%. Inventory 41. Median rent, $2,573. The market action index is at 44, a slight seller's advantage. The market has been cooling over time and prices have recently flattened. Despite the consistent decrease in MAI, we are still in the seller's market. My take, limited inventory creates opportunities. The luxury segment, Q1, 1.8 million command premium pricing, but move slowly. While the entry tier, the 582,000 quartile, shows excellent velocity at 7 days on market. The 20% relist rate and 32% price decreases suggest some pricing discipline is needed. All right, Germantown condos and townhouses. Median list price, $365,000. Median price of new listings, $475,000. Price per square foot, $263. Average days on market, 41. Median days on market, 21. Price decreases, 36%, price increases 3%, relisted 5%, inventory at 91, medium rent 2023, market action index is 51, that's a strong seller's market. The market narrative, the market has been cooling over time and prices plateaued for a while. Despite the consistent decrease in MAI, we're still in the seller's zone. My take, the second highest quartile at a median price of $435,000 is showing strength in absorption, but overall I'm concerned to see 15 units hit the market, but only 9 being absorbed. We might be seeing early signs of weakness at around the 500K mark. Kensington, Maryland, single-family homes, median list price of $1,150,000. Median price of new listings, $1,164,500. Price per square foot, 356. Average days on market, 60. Median days on market, 39. Price decreased 28%. Price increased 0. Relisted 8%. Inventory at 40. Median rent, $4,200. Market action index of 47, that's a strong seller's market. Market narrative, in the last few weeks, the market has achieved relative stasis point in terms of sales to inventory. However, inventory is sufficiently low to keep us in the seller's market zone, and prices have resumed upward pressure. My take, tight inventory creates strong dynamics. The top and bottom quartiles are showing strength and met or exceeded inventory. Absorption on the middle 2 quartiles did not keep up with inventory. Poolsville, single-family homes, median list price $925,000, median price of new listings $725,000, price per square foot $291, average days on market 109, median days on market 42, price decreased at 31%, no price increases or relisted, inventory at only 13, median rent $32.50. The market action index sits at 35, which is a slight seller's advantage. The market has been cooling off for a bit in recent weeks as more homes are available and demand is less. We're already seeing prices move lower as a result. Expect this trend to continue, especially if the index falls into the buyer zone. All right, my take. The most constrained inventory in our area, just 13 homes, yet showing the softest MAI at 35. The ultra luxury market for this neighborhood area sits at $1,337,000. It's completely stalled at 182 days on market with minimal absorption. While even entry-level properties struggle, this micro market requires aggressive pricing strategies for sellers and presents unique opportunities for patient buyers. Potomac, Maryland, single-family homes, median list price $1,795,000, median price of new listings $1,382,500, price per square foot 361, average days on market 87, median days on market 49, price decreased 32%, price increases at 0, relisted 12%, inventory sits at 69, median rent is about $5,000, and the market action index is 44, which is a slight seller's advantage. The market narrative, the market has been at a stasis point in terms of sales to inventory. However, prices seem to continue to fall a bit despite technically being in a seller's market. Okay, so my take, the bottom 2 quartiles at $1,175,000 median price to $1,475,000 are showing significant strength. Absorption met or exceeded inventory and days on market and are sitting between 21 and 35 days, which is very healthy. Unsurprisingly, days on market at the median price of $3,497,500 move slowly, but the top quartile absorbed 2 while only adding 1 new unit. The weakness segment is at the $1,895,000 mark with 2 new units, but only 1 absorbed, and days on market are running along 49 days. Rockville, Maryland, single-family homes, median list price $749,000, median price of new listings $685,000, price per square foot $342, average days on market 50, median days on market 28, price decrease 44%, price increases 0, relisted 10%, inventory at 79, median rent $3,500. a market action index of 54, which is a strong seller's market. In the market of narrative in the last few weeks, the market has become a stasis point in terms of sales to inventory. However, prices seem to be falling recently despite being a seller's market. My take, I think price decreases here are mostly due to aspirational pricing. This is a healthy market with 13 new units being added and 18 absorbed, beating inventory in each quartile. Rockville, Maryland condos and townhomes. Median list price $452,500. Median price of new listings $450,000. Price per square foot $338. Average days on market 68. Median days on market 42. Price decreases 39%. Price increases 1%. Relisted 10%. Inventory at $150. Median rent $2,561. Market action index 41. This is a slight seller's advantage. The market narrative, the market remains in relative stasis in terms of sales to inventory. Prices have not been moving higher for several weeks. My take, the largest inventory in our condo coverage at 150 units provides a good selection. All quartiles showing impressive absorption with acceptable days on market. As with Rockville single family market, I would likely attribute the price decreases and relist rates to aspirational prices versus market weakness. Silver Spring single-family homes, median list price $695,000, median price of new listings $699,900, price per square foot $319, average days on market 47, median days on market 21, price decrease 36%, zero price increases, relisted at 8%, inventory coming in at 182, 3,200 median rent, and 52 market action index, which is a strong seller's market. Market of narrative, in the last few weeks, the market has achieved relative stasis point in terms of sales to inventory. My take, strong absorption across most price points signals genuine demand depth. The second highest quartile with a median price of $745,000 is likely the biggest challenge here. 10 homes hit the market, but only one was absorbed. Silver Spring, Maryland condo and townhomes. Median list price of $262,000. Median price of new listings $314,750. Price per square foot $245. Average days on market 72. Median days on market 49. Price decrease 38%. Price increases 1%. Relisted at 8%. Inventory at 164. Median rent $1,975,000. Market action index is sitting at 44, which is a slight seller's advantage. Market narrative, in the last few weeks, the market has achieved relative stasis point in terms of inventory to sales. My take, the inventory entry-level opportunities with strong rental yields. The premium segment, the Q1, $479,000, shows excellent momentum, while the lower tiers require patience. Absorption overall outpaced inventory, but the $312,500 quartile is the weakest here. Key takeaways. Absorption divergence by price point. Strong sellers market like Rockville single family, 13 new, 18 absorbed, and Gaithersburg condo, 14 new and 20 absorbed, demonstrate healthy demand, while previously hot markets like Gaithersburg single family showing early signs of weakness, 18 new and only 7 absorbed, suggesting buyer selectivity is intensifying. Entry-level resilience versus mid-tier vulnerability. Bottom quartiles remain maintaining momentum across premium markets. Bethesda, single family, bottom quartile, 6 new, 7 absorbed at 21 days on market. While specific price points like Silver Spring, $745K segment, 10 new absorbed and 10 new and only 1 absorbed, and the $500K threshold in multiple markets is showing some absorption challenges. Aspirational pricing versus true market weakness. High price decrease rates in strong absorption markets like Rockville's single family, 44% decrease, but beating inventory in all quartiles likely reflects seller pricing discipline rather than demand weakness. Contrasting with genuine stagnation in the luxury markets like Chevy Chase, where absorption is sitting at 0 and days on market 154. All right, so market bifurcation at the community level, even with individual communities, stark performance splits emerging. Potomac's bottom two quartiles showing exceptional strength, while the 1.895 million segment struggles, and Chevy Chase clear division between the top and bottom halves. Post-holiday market dynamics suggest a bifurcated environment where well-priced properties continue to move efficiently while overpriced inventory accumulates, creating clear and strategic pathways for buyers and sellers willing to price realistically. Looking ahead, watch for the 500K threshold across multiple communities as a potential inflection point for buyer resistance. Gaithersburg single-family early weakness signals 18 new, 7 absorb may preview broader market shifts in this previously hot market. Aspirational pricing corrections in strong absorption markets like Rockville suggest sellers are adjusting expectations without fundamental demand erosion. The bifurcated performance within the premium communities indicates pricing precision will become increasingly critical through the summer. As we move deeper into July, expect to see more buyer opportunities. Ready to move? For buyers, post-holiday inventory refresh creates opportunities, especially in the luxury segment, showing pricing flexibility. Get strategic insights and early access. https://zenlist.com/Corey.Feldman. For sellers, market dynamics favor realistic pricing strategies with 35 to 44% reductions rates signaling negotiation-heavy environment. Get your data-driven market analysis at bit.ly/DCMetroCMA. Questions about these evolving summer dynamics? Let's discuss your specific situation at 301-564-3058. Here's to a successful week ahead.